Broadcasting from the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, to around the globe. You're listening to Shark Bite Biz, your exclusive place for business strategy, sales, marketing, and tech in the roaring 20s. And now, here's your host, David Strausser.
I know you missed me, but I'm back with another episode of Shark Bite Biz. I'm your rock star host, David Strausser, and we have another rockin' episode scheduled for today. In fact, today we're going to talk to a small business owner, somebody who took a love and passion for music and turned it into an actual product and a legit small business. You're going to hear the story of how the business started, how she and her partner Tim created a plan, some of the pitfalls they had, and finally, how they made this all work, come together, and get where they're at today. Another neat part of this whole story is how nimble and flexible their business was to adapt to changing times with the current global pandemic. They made the best out of a sour situation. What makes this episode even more special, over the top, is I'm an avid fan of their product and use them every single day. In fact, once I tell you who they are, you'll instantly know exactly what I'm talking about, and I'll be verified by using their products. So, who is today's guest? Jenny Mann. Who is Jenny Mann? Jenny Mann is the owner of the guitar string jewelry company, Strung. And she's also the lead singer of the rock band Blameshift. After 10 years on the road as a touring musician, they set out on a mission to give back to the music community. From an idea that started with some broken guitar strings to creating a product that brung music lovers and concert goers together, Strung was born. With their charitable partnerships, they're on a mission to help save music by donating a percentage of every sale to music education for kids. So let me shut up and stop talking. Let's bring Jenny on in here.
Business strategy.
Hey Jenny, welcome to Shark Bite Biz. Such a pleasure to have you as one of your biggest fans.
For having me.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great. So let's start off. We have a tradition here. We start off with very easy softball questions, okay? Let's start off by you telling us who you are, what's your background, and I know that I know a lot about your business and stuff, but what about our audience? Explain to them how that started up and the uniqueness of the business.
Sure. So my name is Jenny. I've been touring in a rock band called Blameshift for about 12 years. Throughout those years, we played about 300 shows a year, toured in every state, every little city, every little town in this country. Had an awesome run at that. And then about 6 years ago, one random day in Buffalo, I started taking Tim's broken guitar strings. Tim is my partner in Strung, my husband, and my bandmate. So I
a lot
realized,
of connections there.
Yes. After seeing his strings laying around our bus for many years, I was like, these kind of look cool. They're silver and rose gold, and they're beautiful. And I'm like, I feel like I can make something out of these. We had a lot of downtime on the road throughout touring. There's just like, you play 30 minutes a night. Besides that, you're trying to occupy your brain and your time. So I started making jewelry on a whim. I started selling it at our shows. People would like line up after the show, and I would hand make it there at the booth, at our merch booth. We would sell our CDs, our t-shirts, and I would be making jewelry. And like our fans were just loving it. And even people that weren't there to see us would buy our jewelry. People were lining up, to buy our jewelry, and I realized that we had something really special, going on. So we did that.
Was it mostly women back then or men as well?
Only women, because we hadn't even designed like our beaded bracelets and anything like that.
Hey, that didn't stop me. I was still trying to get the guitar string once.
I guess at that time I was making like if someone was standing in front of me, I can make it on Right. So I do it for some men, yes. But for the most part, women, people buying for their girlfriends or wives, whatever. Right. So, yeah, we did that for like a year and a half, 2 years probably, traveling around, playing music, selling jewelry. And finally, we were like, we really have something super special here. and let's give it a shot, give it a name, so we took a little time off from the road and started to come up with like what Strung was going to be about. What is our brand? What's our mission? What is our message? There were a couple other guitar string jewelry companies that I didn't know about them when I started this, but as we started doing it, I was like, what else is out there? And there were companies that were doing guitar string jewelry, but we were like, we need to do something different. And that's where we came up, our musical inspiration and song inspiration part of Strung.
Right.
Yeah. So
is that kind of where the names for a lot of the jewelry pieces come from too?
Yeah. So right from the beginning, how that actually came about was at first I thought that we would sell our jewelry in packs of 3. Like that was always my vision, was like silver, gold, rose gold, 3 bracelets with charms. And then I gave those collections titles, and they were like sugar spikes and everything nice. There was like peace, love, and music. I love rock and roll and stuff like that. And then once I started naming the collections, I was like, wait a second, I should probably be naming each individual bracelet.
Right.
That's when that idea came to play. And so each one of our pieces is inspired by a song. So our customers shop from a playlist, and it's made it very unique to our business. There's no other company that uses music as their marketing platform, and it's given our customers something that it's made our brand become more like a collectible item,
right?
Something that you find a connection with.
Oh,
you
exactly.
have to have, you love, whatever, a certain art, you need to have that bracelet, and you need to collect things from the decade of music that you love, or the genre you love. So
no, I definitely feel that. And one thing that always intrigues me with businesses is that creative process of going through building your business plan. And you said that you realized we might actually have something here. How did that spark feel when it went off? Can you describe that? Do you remember the moment when you're like, you know what, this should be a business?
Yeah, well, I kind of do. I was showing the bracelets to a guy that I kind of worked for here and there when I would come home from the road. Really smart businessman that I'd known for years, since I was much younger. And he was like, oh my God, Jenny, he's like, this is serious. This could be something really big. And I'm like, you think? And he's like, yeah. He walked me next door. I was at his office. He walked me next door to another a guy that worked in the same complex as him, that does giftable items and sells to TJ Maxx and Marshalls and Bed Bath and Beyond. And this guy's a multimillionaire, and he's like, you got to check this out. And the guy was blown away by the idea and the concept. And then he introduced me to his business partner, who was blown away by everything. And I'm like, oh my God. These are been in business for years that are grown adults are I have a great idea,
Yeah.
So,
no, that, and it's gotta feel that's gotta feel really good, I imagine.
Yeah.
And a lot of what you said is actually true. I mean, as people see, a lot of bracelets, and in full disclosure, I have a lot of Strung bracelets that I wear, multiple, all the time, every day. I'm never without a Strung bracelet. But for many years, I was looking at bracelets. I could never find the right fit. I mean, it seemed too tacky or cheap, or, and then I came across Strung, and it was like, this is my personality. This is the rock and roller with me that still can go with a suit.
Exactly. Right. You know of anybody because you have supporting us since probably almost the beginning. So
Right. No, really, that's a really amazing, great story. Like I was just saying, I really love the creativeness and the entrepreneurs of you just kind of joining forces to create this brand. And that's one of the things with the rocker look, but still classy and professional at the same time. That's why I'm probably one of your biggest fans. I like to think top 3, but that's just on me.
by my dad, because he thinks he's our top fan and everything. So
I'll battle him out. So I guess that you're a first-time business owner, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we tried to launch other businesses throughout the years,
Right.
On tour, microphone wraps, lights, microphone stands, light boxes. I mean,
Most
all
people
like,
have.
yes.
It's
Yeah,
that trial and error phase where you
right.
have to. But that just shows how big of an entrepreneur both you and Tim are, because it's not like you launch something out and you're like, no, this is not working. This isn't for me. No, it's try again till you find the right solution.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
Strung is that right solution, right? Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's great. So, what were some of the initial pains that you had rolling out?
Oh,
Getting
God.
everything kind of, what I guess what was like one of the biggest hurdles you had to jump over to get to where you are today?
Yeah, so we've had many, as like I said, this is really our first go at
Hmm.
launching a brand, which when we first started, we didn't know we were launching a brand. So I think that was probably good
Hmm.
because have these like big goals that like we were like would be upset if we didn't reach. We were just kind of like rolling with the punches.
That's really amazing. We just did an episode with William Hung, and it was just set on dreaming big. That be a business owner, like you're saying, to be successful, you have to have those big dreams, kind of have those goals, and then you work backwards from there, building your plan.
Exactly. So right, because and then like you know, I listen to a lot of podcasts and read a lot about business and entrepreneurial like ventures and stuff like that, and you see people that like have this big crazy dream, and it's just like so unattainable that they never really like do it
You
because
can't
they're
even
always
get
like,
to
oh,
40%.
right, one more thing I got to do before I launch, and I have to get this perfect. And like we did it the complete opposite way. We
Right.
just had the bare minimum. We had no investors. We had no startup capital. I think we each put in maybe like $1,500 to get our first round of packaging because we
Right.
knew we like
Need to buy the
make,
package. I will
yeah.
tell you, your packaging is superb. I mean, it is amazing. I love it. That was one of the first biggest draws I had, is because yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm buying a $500 bracelet, but it's a very affordable bracelet. And then I felt that what I paid for the bracelet, the packaging, like almost exceeded the price. I thought I would get that packaging for a higher price one.
Right, exactly. And that like so that was something that was important to us at the beginning. So we put a little bit of money into that. Literally we made it maybe invested $3,000 into this business. And I mean, at the beginning. Then as we've been building it, we are just taking whatever we make, reinvesting what we make and reinvest. And we've been doing that for the last 4 years. But I think that like our biggest hurdle that we face besides like not having startup capital and stuff like that,
Which is a pretty big hurdle to face, but you did it.
but we just like with our band, same thing. We're DIY. We just like make it happen. We had
Right.
our first site done by a family friend that had just started his own marketing firm that he was like, let me do your website.
Yeah.
So have something to put on my credential, you know,
Right, right,
so
right.
we did it for free.
So
It
that
was a
you can promote
$20,000
it, right?
website.
Uh-huh.
You know, we used our connections and friendships and you know people we met throughout the years and created relationships with to help us at the beginning when we didn't have the fund.
And that's a big story, just thinking about that, how important it is not to burn bridges. I'm somebody that is very big in relationships, and it's like I'm gonna stay in contact. I never know if I need him, if he needs me, if she needs me, if I need her. And to get in touch with them, I mean, there's plenty of people. It's like, hey, I know we haven't talked in 7 years, but I think you might be able to help me with something.
Exactly. And Tim, my partner Tim, is the guru of relationships. I have to say, I'm good at it, but he's like superb, and he keeps it everyone, and everyone loves him and will do favors for him if
Right.
So yeah, but getting to like what our real biggest
So
hurdle was.
is it like a good cop, bad cop type thing there? You're the enforcer, he's the good cop.
Yeah, he's like the kind of guy like, he'll make friends with like the richest guy in the room because, with his like charm and personality, and then all of a sudden the guy will be like buying him like shots and like giving him a whatever.
Yeah,
It's funny, but people love him, so it's great.
yeah, that's great.
But I think our biggest hurdle was, and this is something that's like we really haven't spoken about too much, and most people don't know this, but after I told you that we had those meetings with my former, like a person that I'd worked for that I looked up to, like, wow, this is really cool. He was like thinking of getting involved in like being an investor, and then we wrote up a whole business plan, and we're like, I don't know if he's the right person because he just wanted, like, I didn't think he shared our vision. So we're like, okay, that's not going to work out. But at that time, we're like, we need money to launch this business. We can't do it on our own. So we started looking.
You can only bootstrap so far.
Right. So we were like, all right, we need money. How are we going to get it? How are we going to get the capital to start this business, to really launch this business? So Tim had a friend who's in like the jewelry, like diamond business in New York City. He was like, I know a guy that's in like the fashion jewelry business who sells to QVC and sells to Kohl's and sells to blah, blah, blah. This guy is going to love what you guys do. Let's set up a meeting.
Right.
We're like, great. So we go into the city, we meet at a restaurant, we bring some samples. We didn't even have a name. We were calling our jewelry rock bands at the time. Rock, B-A-N-Z. We loved it. It was my baby. And then we found out there was another jewelry company called Rock Bands.
Oh, man, that's gotta stink. I like that name, but I do like Strung a little bit better, I must admit, because of the guitar strings.
Yes, I do. And I think that it was meant to be, but I was like brokenhearted over that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, so we go for this meeting. We don't have a name. The guy loves our jewelry. He talks a big game. He's going to get us some QVC, and he's going to do this, and he's going to set that up, and he's going to blah, blah, blah. And we're like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
You know, we're like so excited. We go for another meeting. We go to his office and meet all like the designers, and this one runs like the e-com. And we're like, this is like amazing, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, but, you know, we don't even have to use real guitar strings. We can maybe get them made in China. We'll get like, you know, like bootleg guitar strings.
Bootleg guitar strings?
Yeah. I was like,
so
like,
he'll get the real Gibsons.
Right. Like, what? So we're like already having a little bit of doubt, you know.
Right.
He didn't like the name Strung. We had during this time period, we came up with the name Strung. He didn't really like it. We did. It was just like, you know, anyway, we still were like, this guy is going to launch our brand. Like, we can't do it. And as the weeks went on, month went on, like, he kind of fell off. And then, like, we didn't hear from him for a couple weeks. And then, you know, we were, like, glued to the phone. Like, when is he going to call? Like, what's the next step? And he just kind of like disappeared. Like he didn't really give us like a reason or like, oh, it's going to be too much time or I just don't have, it's not for me, nothing. And we were like, we're done. Like we're not going to launch a business because we can't. Like how do you launch a business with no capital? We gave up for like 6 months. We're like, we're just not going to, we just didn't see how we could do it.
That's some of the highs and lows. I mean, you go from the highs and you kind of got your hopes a little bit too high with the, I guess you could call it like a false advertisement there. And then you hit your low. But a true entrepreneur doesn't give up and they find a way to fight back, which it sounds like you did.
Yes, and I think we took about 6 months where we're just like over it. Like we just didn't even know what to do. And then I honestly don't even know like the moment that we were like where we have to do this. Right. There had to be a moment, maybe Tim can remember the exact moment, but we're like, all right, we're not gonna just like this is too good of an idea to just let it go because it's some stupid guy that like talked a big game. Like this is an idea and we're gonna make it happen. And that was when we started doing it, figuring out our packaging and what's the next steps and our manufacturers and where we're getting the strings from and where are we sourcing, the charms from. And we just got the website. Like I said, a friend donated it to us. That was really like a godsend at the time.
That's amazing though. That's really an amazing story. So for time constraints, let's shift over to some of these other areas that you have. But I thought that story was very important for people to hear that are in a business, that have, that they keep the inspiration and that they can hear your success story of how you had those highs and lows and turned it out real good. Now, pivoting a little bit, obviously we're going through some tough times right now. Back in March, everything started shutting down. How has that affected negatively or positively your business with all of that?
Well, I have to say that I'll keep it brief because I could probably talk about this for an hour, but we have turned another instance where we turned a really big negative into a positive. So March 15th rolled around. So that was the day that Cuomo said, New York's on pause. And we're like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Our events are canceled. We were supposed to be at the CMAs. We're supposed to be at Summer NAMM. We had events scheduled the entire summer.
I was going to be at Summer NAMM.
Right. Like our event staff was all set up for the whole summer of events, deposits down, just that. So let's just briefly, I'll give you a little bit more backstory. Like 75% of our business came from live events.
Wow.
So yeah, 25% e-com, direct to consumer, maybe take a little bit off, but maybe, and 5%, to wholesale. But anyway.
So that was pre-March what it was.
Pre-March.
Okay.
So we're like, Tim and I sat in our apartment and we're like, we're so screwed.
Yeah.
Like what are we going to do? We have no way to bring in money, like internet. What's going to happen to our online store? People don't have money. Like people are in crisis mode. No one knows when they're going to work next. People are out of jobs. Like they can't afford to eat. We're in crisis mode, and we were like, what's that going to mean for our business? So obviously we're thinking about the world, but we're also business owners, and we're like, so we're like, we're so screwed.
Yeah.
And made that decision that night
I think a lot of people had those feelings. I mean, even with me, when things started shutting down, it's almost depressing. Like, oh my, there's my, my security blanket just got ripped out from under us. And I think that's very common. So that's really good to hear it that, you're normal, just like us.
Exactly. And so we made a decision. We had an in-house marketing guy that we had been kind of like working with for like the last year. We were trying to make some big steps online, and we were having a little bit of trouble making those steps. We had decided as a company that it would be best to take a step back from him, who we were paying like a pretty decent amount, and try to see if we could find someone that could do it a little bit less. So we found a local company that I had known through something else that they had they were like, well, we believe in you guys. Let's try to go for it. And they like turned our entire e-com world around for us. And we also, like, since we have the time now and the focus,
right.
We just cleaned up everything. Anything that was like a loose end on our marketing, as far as our email marketing, just like everything. We went through every single piece of our website, every little detail, and cleaned things up of, why are people abandoning their carts? Why are people doing this? What can we do to improve that? What kind of questions do people have?
So you basically went through all your process flows, reevaluated, and then redeployed to get everything back aligned. And that's really a good way to use your time. So yeah, just so that you know too, with my day job, when I'm not a podcast host for Shark Bite Biz, with Vision 33, we do the SAP Business One, and we were really worried too, like, hey, companies are going to stop buying stuff like that, and with brick and mortars closed, those types of things. And that's where all of a sudden the last 2 months, we're getting calls from companies that were maybe 2 or 3 years away from getting ERP implementations that are needing it now, because maybe they did 2,500 orders a week through e-commerce in February. And now, all of a sudden, after this, they're up to 7,500 a week, and they just can't handle that demand.
Yeah. Our business has increased by about 60% since March.
Yeah, and then that's what we've seen across the board. So would you say then that your business is in a better place because of how your business pivoted during these times than you were in February?
Absolutely. Not comparable. Yeah.
That's an amazing conversation, just learning about how your business got off the ground, the struggles that you had, and then also hearing there about how you used the time you had during the past couple of months to really refocus and pivoted for these times. And it turned out to be very successful for you. So I guess I have 2 final questions for you, Jenny. Number 1 is, what kind of final words of advice do you have for other businesses out there that are like yours that are struggling?
For us, what's really made a huge difference is putting effort and focus into the little details of your business, whatever that might be, and to look at your business as a consumer and to see what they see and to figure out what is holding them back. If they're not purchasing, why are they not purchasing? Be a consumer and figure, because everyone has everyone's business is their baby.
Right.
But you have to look at it from, you have to let that go and look at it from a different perspective and, kind of make sure that you are dotting your I's and crossing your T's.
You're in touch with what your consumer actually needs.
Exactly.
That's perfect. I guess the last question before we say goodbye is, I look pretty decent when I wear a Men's Warehouse suit with your bracelet. When are you going to get me in a photo shoot to promote you guys?
Anytime you want, we're ready. I know. We've had your wrist in a couple things in the past, so
Yeah, you have. I would have it just all straight up. In fact, I mean, out of all of them that I have, I have seven different bracelets on right now. So definitely, I love you guys. I love the story. I love supporting you. How do people get in contact with you? Where can they visit you to find out more about Strung?
Our website, getstrung.com. We're there. We have a new little chat thing that we added to the site, which is actually just me chatting with people, which I do. Say hi. On Instagram, we're at Strung Official, and we're at Strung on Facebook, so stop by and say hi.
Yeah, definitely. And for everybody listening out there on iTunes, Spotify, and all those other sites, it's Strung, Strung. Okay? Everybody else on YouTube, we'll have the link in the description. Jenny, thank you very much. This was an amazing interview, and I think a lot of people are going to love it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye. Such an amazing story, wasn't it? I think it's so important to really take in what she said. First off, I gotta say, I love supporting small businesses like Strung, and personally, as you can see, I've probably bought over 50 bracelets over the past few years from them. I really love their product, their design, their themes, and most of all, their mission of educating kids with music. Her story, though, is really one of perseverance. Look at how many hurdles she had to overcome in order to launch the brand. Even during the global pandemic, most of their sales come from live events. They had to switch everything and start focusing more on e-commerce and really pivot their whole business strategy. However, as nimble as they are, they were able to make that pivot with, I'd say, minimal pain, and they ended up coming out stronger on the other end. So here's another story of a small business actually increasing their growth during a global pandemic. It didn't close the business down. They just were creative and found another way to increase revenue streams. I really hope this gives you all some good ideas on how to pivot your business going forward. So what do you think? What did you think of Jenny's story of building her business? Come on, leave a comment down below if you're watching on YouTube or many of the other places that we're located, like iTunes and Spotify and Google Podcasts, especially if you found this video helpful. Please subscribe to the channel wherever you're watching or listening, smash that like button, and most importantly, share it. We're only going to grow the channel if people like you are helping me get the word out. Share the channel. I think we're bringing a lot of good content. You're hearing a lot of diverse business stories on how to pivot your business during this global crisis so that your business can stay afloat. I'm here as an advocate to you all. I'm here to help you all grow. Please reach out to me. Anything you need, David at sharkbitebiz.com. Thank you all again, and we'll see you at the next episode on Thursday to talk some more good stuff with Shark Bite Biz. Take care.
Thank you for listening to Shark Bite Biz. We hope you got some insightful info from this podcast. Be sure to subscribe to us through your favorite podcast app and visit us on the web at www.sharkbitebiz.com. How has business changed for you in the 20s? Email us at podcast@sharkbitebiz.com so you can join us and share your story.